guess it's for the best, you know the worst in me. I'm no good at being good, but I never said I was. And I feel misunderstood, cause I'm trying hard to love. I'm sorry, my actions, they haunt me, and I'll never live it down.
As I said, you're listed as a witness in the state of Florida versus Wade Wilson. Do you know why you are listed as a witness in the case? And they say yes. Why? Because he was at my house and I filed a police report. Okay, when and what happened and what was the report? This person says, I believe the date was October 19th. I know it was a Monday. I don't know. I'm sorry, but I don't remember the actual date. It is that day, but this person ends up giving the right day, but they can't remember the date. And the detective says, no, that's okay. This person says, but there's a police report. It was a Monday. I came home and recognized that my gate was closed, which is not typically, and that there was a car that I did not recognize on the other side of the gate. So, fortunately, I had walked home. So fortunately, I took my earbuds out and pried the gate open, as I kind of recall, just kind of being like, hello, and looking and didn't see anybody. I'm trying to picture this. When I was reading this earlier, I'm trying to picture the gate and what was going on here. So what gate? She's saying the gate was closed. It's not typically closed. She sees the car on the other side. Okay, I don't know where's the car at? Is it on the road or in her driveway? Anyway, hopefully it'll make sense when we read it. So it says, unfortunately, right before I unlocked the back door of my house to enter, I paused for a moment and decided that I was going to call my oldest child, who would have just left for school, within the hour, to see if they knew who the vehicle belonged to. And before making that call, I heard a man's voice and jumped and saw a man approaching me who was coming out of my detached garage building. I don't know. I'm trying to I need to picture everything, and I can't picture this setup here. Anyway, the detective says, what? She says, go ahead. What is the location that this happened? Would you like my property address? This was at my home. And the detective says, well, you don't have to say it here if it's in the police reports. It's also where I was served. So yeah, I'm sure you have it. And the detective says, okay. And so tell me more about this person. He didn't belong there? And she says, definitely. And that was my response was, alarmed. And just because the only thing that irks to me is that there was a stranger on my property. So as he was approaching me and saw that he had startled me, I clearly jumped, and I was just kind of lots of F words coming out, he just kind of approached me with his hands in the air saying, oh, hey, sorry. I thought this was my buddy's house. And my response was just, everything was no. And basically, no, this is my house. You just need to get out of here. Dude, the crazy thing is she was in real danger because he was killing people for no reason. He could have killed her. Oh, dang it. And he continued to approach me, and he was shirtless. He had lots of tattoos. And that was one of the things, he was so defensive about that. He said, oh, hey, I'm not a bad guy just because I have all these tattoos. No, you're a bad guy because you just murdered people. Anyway, I was like, dude, it doesn't matter. I don't know you. You don't belong here. And for a moment, I was, what do you mean? This is your friend's house. Or what do you mean this is your friend's house? Who's your friend? And he said blank. And I was like, blank who? And he was just kind of paused and he was like, blank. I mean, obviously sounded random. I said, well, no, it doesn't matter. Dude, this is my house. You don't belong here. Just get out of here. That went on for a little while. And then he asked me if I would help open the gate so he could drive the car out. And at that point, I basically said, I'd prefer if you did, because I didn't want to be anywhere near him or kind of trapped between the car and my closed gate. which I realized at that point was broken. It didn't move easily anyway, but I learned later that the car had actually barreled through the gate, so the wheel had been broken off completely. So after the wheel of the gate, the detective says, yeah, it's like a big wooden stockade gate that had wheels on at the bottom, which again, they didn't move terribly smoothly to begin with. But so I didn't notice that as I was kind of pushing the gate open when I arrived. So this is what I'm trying to figure out. Did he go into her property by barreling through the gate, and the car and him was on the other side of the gate, which was her property? And if that's the case, then how did it get back shut where she said it was shut and it normally isn't shut when she got home? Do you see why I'm confused? And if he didn't do that, then how is his car stuck inside the gate? Is it a neighborhood gate? But I have a deck in the back. So as I stepped down from the deck to start walking towards the gate to push it open, which was after he was over there acting as if he was struggling to open it. And then he walked back over to the driver's side of the car. So there was a space. There was, I'm on the deck. There's a space between the deck and the car as he's on the other side of the car. And at that moment, something told me, just go for it. And I jumped down, ran towards the gate, saw the broken wheel on the ground, picked the wheel out, said something about the gate having been broken, and just barreled through the gate. So I was now out to the front yard, no longer trapped in my back property with a stranger on my premises. And the detective says, what time of day was that? The time of day. She says the time was it was a little before 11:30 because I had walked home from a yoga class that ended at 11 o'clock downtown. It's about a 15-minute walk, linger and exiting. So I know that it was, I believe, before 11:30 when I got there, but not much before 11:30, but right around that time frame. So that would have been after both murders. And then the detective says, you said October 19th, 2019, right? And she said, maybe that's why I'm mixed up. Maybe it was like October 8th, 2019. Yeah, it was definitely 2019. It was a Monday in October. Yes, that much I do know. And the detective says, what did this man look like? And she said, big, tall, shirtless, solid muscle, very, very dark hair, thick, dark hair. Looked like he had a really rough night. So when I reached out to somebody who is with the FMPD, so it'd be Fort Myers PD, after he left my house, because I was able to take a picture of the license plate of the car when he was driving, when he did finally leave and was backing out of the driveway, see, he was in the driveway. Oh my God. I was still standing in the front yard, holding the wheel of the gate, and I took a picture of the tag. He stopped, looked at me, and was like, did you just take a picture? I said, yeah. He said, why? And I was like, because I don't know who the F you are. Now get out of here. Dude, she was so close to being, oh my God, because this was after both murders. He had nothing to lose. Her taking a picture, I am so surprised he didn't run and kill her. He probably knew he was too far. She could have just ran inside. Oh my God. She was actually in real danger. So it was just kind of more of the same of our banter. And as he backed out, he nearly hit the mailbox. He stopped for a moment, looked back, and apologized and drove away. But anyway, I recall when I reached out to my friend at Fort Myers PD to say, hey, I just had this weird encounter with, a person, a trespasser or somebody on my property. And I have a picture of the license plate. Anyway, to find out if that's, someone I should be afraid of. And he, of course, advised me to file a police report, which I did. And the detective says, okay. And did you tell us about everything that you observed and everything that happened on that occasion? And she says, anything pertinent. There's just lots of back and forth about, him kind of saying, I didn't take anything. I didn't do anything. I just kept on saying, I don't care. You just need to get out of here. And the detective says, was there? And she says, yeah. Was there any further conversation after he asked you why you took a picture? And when you told him why, did he respond at all? And she says, no, he was already in the car driving at that point. And he continued to leave. And the other unfortunate pertinent information is that I was supposed to go to a memorial service for somebody. So I was going to deal with the police report later. I had, unfortunately, left my car unlocked when I walked to the yoga studio. When I got back, or when I had gotten ready and I was about to leave, I got in my car and I could smell an odor. And I discovered that there was urine in the center console of my car in the cup holder. You gotta be kidding me. It was clearly obvious that that's what it was. The odor was, undoubtable. It was bizarre because it was just a little bit of splatter on the seats. But then after I had the car deep cleaned, shampooed, detailed, it was apparent that there was definitely urine in the carpet of the vehicle as well. This guy is just disgusting. He pees in her car all over. Some gets in the cup, just pees. So basically he's probably just like peeing, probably trying to get it in the cup. Like, are you kidding me? Anyway, she says, the detective says, that was your car? And she says, in my car, correct. And the detective says, what kind of car is that? And she says, it's a 2014 Hyundai Cross Tour. And the detective says, okay, what other observations did you make? And she says, I guess that's really it where that is concerned. And later, a couple weeks later, a neighbor woman that lives in these apartments across the street from me was kind of like fishing, I was the front yard, and she said something about asking if I had a person that lived in the back building. And he was like, what are you talking about? And then she went on to say that she was talking exactly about the person that had been there that day, and went on to say that he had nearly run her over while driving into the neighborhood, whipping into my driveway, crashing through the gate. Dang it. And then noticed that a blonde woman had walked out of the woods next to these apartments across the street. Actually climbed the fence and was here at some point as well. I missed this. I was skimming to highlight it, but I missed that part. What? A blonde woman had walked out of the woods next to these apartments across the street, actually climbed the fence and was here at some point as well. Oh, yeah, it's a deposition. It was in his depositions for his here, or in his case, his files. Dude, who is this blonde lady though? That's crazy. All right, we'll just continue. All right. The heck? I'm hungry though, guys. Oh, interrogation files. What's up, my friend? My 100,000 K, or 100,000 friend, sub friend. Mila, but like, okay, wait, let's think here. This would have been, no, because this would have been after he attacked her too. But then he was trying to meet her up. What time was, okay, I'm trying to think of the time of that body cam. Hold on. Let me get that video. I want to see what time that body cam was when the cop, where you'll see that Mila, and I don't remember how much she says in her testimony, but on the deposition, she says that was a setup. Does she say that in her testimony? I forget. But the deposition, she said it was a setup. She had to meet her at Joe's Crab Shack. She was freaking on the phone with the cops, and she was setting it up so he'd get caught. So I want to see what time that is, because I want to see this person saying that this had to be around a little bit after 11, because she's saying her class ended at 11. She walked home. So she's thinking it's probably like around 11:30 or sometime after 11, right? So hold on one second. We got to see something. This is kind of interesting. It's getting very interesting, guys. I just want to find that body cam and see what the timestamp is of that. Hold on. That was Wade Wilson, number 5, right? I have to just label the files to keep track. No, oh, dude. So the body cam's at 3:18 p.m. It's 15:18, which is 3:18. Oh, wait. I forgot body cams do that. Whatchamacallit? Universal time zone. I forgot. And if they don't some of them have it set, but some don't. No, it depends too how much you subtract depending on the place that it's at. So I'd have to figure out what to subtract it by. So this might not be 3:18, to be honest. Oh, my brain is like so like scattered. Like when I'm on a live, my like researching and brain that I could like figure out stuff is like on break. That's why I figure it out when I'm not on live. When I'm on live, it's like I just have to already have it somewhat. Well, let me just finish reading it and I'll figure that out later because I can't just stop. We'll finish reading it. Sorry. I just was trying to like put things into perspective here because who is this blonde lady climbing over a fence in the woods? I never encountered another person that day. I was not aware that there had been a second person there. So that's the only other thing that I know. I did provide that neighbor's name and information to the detectives when I gave my report. Anyway, where are we at? The detective says, what car was that he was in? She says, it was a black Nissan Sentra. And you know who this blonde lady was? And she says, I don't know who the blonde lady was. I know who it's assumed to have been, possibly the ex-girlfriend who had apparently encountered him that day as well. Where did you find that out? I'm sure the detectives told me that was maybe who that had been. This was well after the fact. And actually that you're now reminding me of more pertinent information that pertains to this. The reason I had called the detective back again is that somehow Wade got my personal information and started trying to contact me from jail. I forgot about this part. Yeah. How freaky. So this murderer that is on her property ends up somehow getting her information. Well, because he was in her car. He had her address. I mean, probably found something in her car. Gets her information and tries to contact her from jail. Dude, I know this is scary. Anyway, and that's when I started to feel thoroughly traumatized by this experience. He had tried to contact me via jail mail and also collect calls. Gotta be kidding me. So this, I thought I had anonymity, that word, I can't say that word. Sorry, guys. Anonymity up until that time. And obviously someone who is not in jail that he was communicating with was able to help him find out my contact information to try to reach me and speak to me. That's true. Because like, even though if he somehow maybe knew her name, but to get her contact information and stuff, that's creepy. Knowing somebody's on the outside getting in her information, dude, I would be freaked out. And the detective says, what more do you know about those contact attempts? Was there any writing that you could see? Any questions posed? And she says, no, I never accepted the invitation to communicate via jail mail. And I never accepted to collect calls. So there was nothing more. And the detective says, and you didn't know him previously? No. Okay, any other observation or facts of which you are aware? She says, no. Okay. So phone number, jail mail. So she would have to somehow get the email, or how do you do? So jail mail, does that go by your email or whatever information you had to know to get to send her the jail mail? And then freaking calling her, trying to call her. And then the detective says, ma'am, you didn't accept any of the phone calls from jail? She says, no. And you said there was some mail? Was it like an email to you? Yes, an email jail mail request. And I should have added that. So after receiving this, his into trying to initiate contact, that's when I called back to the detective, very upset about the fact that, I was really wanting no connection to this whatsoever. I actually even said something about, did I need to invoke Marcy's law or anything? And they were like, no, you don't have to worry about anything like that. If you don't want to talk to the news, don't talk to the news, things of that nature. And then I just kind of felt like, okay, I've given my statement. I'll never hear anything again. So, like I said, attempts were made to contact me. I couldn't, and I got back in touch with the detective, and then they reached out to the jail to make sure that he was notified. I actually did call, I believe, the state's office as well, and said, obviously I want to never be contacted by him again. I was told that he had been warned if he ever tried to reach out to me again, he would lose his right to communicate with anyone ever. And a few months later, he did make another attempt, but I never reported it. Wow. I just wanted to just not, be attached to this or put this behind me. So I just let it be. But he did take a chance of losing those rights and tried to reach out again. Like, why? Like, why are you that desperate to reach out again and possibly, get some kind of, rights in jail? What did she say? Hold on, make sure. I want to see how she worded that though. So sorry. I was told that he had been warned if he ever tried to reach out to me again, he would lose his right to communicate with anyone ever. Ever. And he took that chance and reached out again. So what the heck why is he trying so hard to get in contact with this person? That's weird. I want to know what the heck is so important. It's worth losing your rights. What? The detective says, okay, you turned over whatever was sent to you to the police. And she says, nobody ever requested anything that was sent over. And it was simply an email asking that I had an invitation to communicate with this inmate via jail mail. And the detective says, and so you didn't? And that was the end of it. And correct. And then the calls, there were a few collect calls, and they were and then I think there was even a text message about the jail mail saying, and then also a recorded call saying that this inmate was trying to contact me, but never did I speak to anyone or reply in any way to any of that. Dude, I'd be scared, especially then the 2 houses being burnt down. Oh my God. The detective says, do you know for sure how he got your information? And she says, absolutely not. I just have that it was in fact verified that he didn't have internet access to do research on his own. So it was clearly somebody who was communicating that did, and that was able to give it to him. And I was, as you can imagine, very upset to know that there was someone that wasn't locked up that had taken that kind of interest in me and had, obviously invaded my space and privacy and whatnot. This is supposed to be green right here. So and the detective says, I certainly understand how upsetting that it must have been to find a stranger at your house. But let me ask you, did he threaten you in any way? And she says, no, he was just always trying to diffuse me and tell me that he wasn't anybody that I needed to be worried about. He did kind of force me into, I guess you would call it a high five. It wasn't exactly that. And that's when I noticed, just how roughed up his hands were. So as I described to my friend what I was saying, hey, can you check this license plate? I don't know. This guy just looked like he had a really rough night. That was kind of how I described it. He looked thoroughly exhausted, but he did have scrapes on his hands as well. And so, but no, he just kept on telling, just trying for me to not be worried about his being there. I just kept on saying, nothing you have to say matters. Just get out of here. And again, when I said something about the gate being broken, he's like, I didn't take anything. I didn't do anything. He almost seemed like at that point, he was looking for me to be, tell him everything was okay. To ignore him, the detective says. And she says, the detective says, to ignore him. And she says, well, yeah, exactly. And that's it, really. Say, appreciate your time and talk about what we have done here is transcribe, blah, blah, blah. Okay. That was interesting. Dang it. Well, so thanks. You gift another one? Thank you. I believe if I remember right, that cop that did the body cam, he testified, which we're going to watch the trial tomorrow together. If I remember right, though, he said he was Fort Myers PD, right? So hold on one second. If we do, I just want to see if I could make sure I get the time of the And then it depends on if it's daylight savings time or what. So Fort Myers, that was in what? For the UTC time, I mean. What month was that? July or October. Why did I say July? So it'd be -5, I'm pretty sure. That would be 1. So that way, no, that can't be right. Because if that's the case, that time, that body cam would be 10 a.m. Mila is like around 8, supposedly. The only way it could be Mila is if like it would be after that, right? So the cops follow him and then he leaves, and then somehow Mila gets in contact with him and meets him or something. But I don't know, guys. I don't think that was her, because how could that have happened? It doesn't make sense. But let's read her deposition real quick. I'm hungry though, guys. I almost want to get a snack. Yeah. So if I did that right real quick, it'd be that body cam was actually 10 a.m. But I don't trust myself right now because I need to like focus to make sure. I'm really like OCD. I want to make sure 100%. But like I said, let's see what Mila says on her deposition. And that's bothering me because I always forget about that with body cams. Some of them have it taken into account. So if you see the ones that you'll see it like -6, if they already did it, some of them have it set or whatever, where they have it set for the UTC and you'll see it to the right. That's why this one doesn't, I don't think it does, because it's not there. So you'll see like the minus. Oh my God, my eye. But yeah, so anyway, my video, and I was like, no, maybe I didn't. Oh yeah, that body cam that I released as a pre-record, that means I have the wrong time up there, and that bothers me. I'll have to pin a comment. All right, let me get the highlighted. Hold on, guys. I'm getting there. Just give me a break from reading for a minute.
I'm sorry, my actions, they haunt